With over 5,000 aerial victories to its name, the F6F Hellcat became, by sheer kill count, the most lethal fighter of the entire Second World War. Yet despite that staggering number, it's rarely the first aircraft people mention when talking about legendary wartime fighters. Today, we'll tell the turbulent story of the plane that reportedly shot down 19 enemy aircraft for every Hellcat lost, how it achieved that, and why it earned the nickname the Ace Maker. To understand the Hellcat's story, you first need to understand the kind of war it was built for. The Pacific theater introduced a completely new style of combat, dominated by aircraft carriers. Naval power no longer depended on massive battleships, but on controlling the skies above the ocean. Whoever held air supremacy controlled the sea below. After Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, American and Japanese forces clashed across the Pacific, and everything depended on carrier aircraft. But right at the start of the war, the US had a major problem. The Mitsubishi A6M Zero, American carriers were still using the aging F4F Wildcat. When it encountered the Zero, the Wildcat was outclassed, slower, less agile, and flown against highly trained Japanese pilots. Losses mounted quickly, and the Navy needed something far better, fast. Grumman, the maker of the Wildcat, began designing a completely new aircraft from scratch. Work on what would become the Hellcat had already started before America entered the war, but now it was rushed with urgent priority. Then something unexpected happened. In 1942, a Japanese Zero crash-landed in the Aleutian Islands and was captured almost intact. Engineers took it apart, studied its structure, and even flew it to test its strengths and weaknesses. This gave the US exactly the information it needed. Instead of trying to match the Zero's agility, Grumman designed the Hellcat to exploit its weaknesses, its lack of armor, fragile frame, and inability to handle high-speed dives. The prototype XF6F3 rolled out with a larger frame, raised cockpit, tougher landing gear, and folding wings. Pilot feedback shaped it further, and in just 10 months it was combat ready. Within 2 years, over 12,000 Hellcats were built. Unlike the lightweight Zero, the Hellcat was built to survive. With self-sealing tanks, a reinforced structure, over 200 pounds of cockpit armor, and a bullet-resistant windscreen. It could take massive punishment and still return safely. Early versions weren't quite fast enough, until Grumman installed a supercharged 18-cylinder double wasp engine producing over 2,000 horsepower, paired with a huge 13-foot propeller. The Hellcat now reached speeds over 390 miles per hour. Armed with 6.50 caliber machine guns, 400 rounds each, it packs serious firepower. Some late versions added 20mm cannons and could carry rockets, bombs, and even torpedoes, giving it multi-role capability. The Hellcat's first combat was on August 31, 1943. During a raid on Marcus Island. Its first serious test came soon after at Wake Island, where Hellcats shot down 18 Japanese planes while losing only 2 of their own. Later, over Tarawa, nearly 50 Japanese Zeros engaged a smaller group of Hellcats. Americans shot down 30 enemy aircraft while losing just 1. American pilots learned never to engage in tight-turning battles with the Zero. Instead, they used boom and zoom tactics, diving fast, firing, then climbing away. The Zero simply couldn't follow without risking its fragile frame. All of this came together during the Battle of the Philippine Sea. With radar guiding US fighters, Hellcats intercepted wave after wave of Japanese aircraft in what became known as the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. In 2 days, U.S. forces downed more than 300 Japanese planes, most of them by Hellcats, while losing only 29 American aircraft. Japan also lost its most experienced pilots and could not replace them, sealing the fate of its air power. The famous 19-to-1 kill ratio is often debated due to lost Japanese records and overclaiming. But even conservative estimates still place the Hellcat at around a 13 or 14-to-1 ratio, the highest of any World War II fighter. What makes this even more remarkable is that many American pilots were young and newly trained due to wartime shortages. The Hellcat's forgiving handling kept them alive long enough to gain experience. More than 300 Hellcat pilots became aces, some scoring 5 victories within minutes, giving the aircraft its nickname, the Ace Maker. As Japanese forces declined, they increasingly relied on kamikaze attacks. Their remaining aircraft were outdated, poorly maintained, and flown by barely trained pilots, while the Allies had better radar, more planes, and more experienced crews. Even in the last year of the war, the Hellcat remained a reliable workhorse, dogfighting, escorting bombers, attacking ships, and supporting ground troops. The era of piston engine fighters ended soon after, replaced by jets like the F/H Phantom and F9F Panther. The Hellcat's official successor, the F8F Bearcat, came too late to see combat.